or government debt.
And the IRS just launched its stimulus check tracking tool today. This tool will allow you to see when you can expect to get your payment. So we have information for a link to that on 11alive.com. It is in the As Seen on TV section. The new American Relief Plan also has two different dollar amounts involving children that have some parents confused, and one is related to the third stimulus check and the other is an expansion of the child tax credit. So first, let's take a look at the stimulus check.
New stimulus update. President Biden has made a huge announcement for people. You may end up with some extra cash in your bank account by the end of the year of 2023. And now Joe Biden announced some good news for people across the United States. Joe Biden sent out a series of tweets during the holiday season, detailing what his administration has accomplished for average American. And one of these tweets directly related to a big change that can mean an extra $200 in a typical household's budget. Biden wrote in a Twitter post that he explained exactly why he believes a typical American will have more money in their bank account this year. Biden stated right now families with 2 cars driving home for holidays are saving $200 a month for gas compared to the mid-June's peak. High gas prices have been wreaking havoc on Americans' budgets for a very long time, but prices have started to fall dramatically in recent months. And while a drop in prices isn't exactly the same as the government making an extra direct payment into people's accounts, it can have an equivalent effect. Because according to economists, if you were spending $200 more per month on gas during the summer, and you now get to keep that money for other things thanks to the decreasing prices, these reclaimed funds can allow you to do other important things with your money. And so that only means one thing, folks. It means that President Biden is ready for stimulus payments and ready to help out the American people. Not only that, but listen to this. Because now, according to economists, if you were spending $200 more a month on gas during the summer, and you now get to keep that money for other things thanks to decreasing prices, plus these reclaimed funds are actually allowing you to do other important things with your money. Because of falling gas prices and a general decline in inflation that the president has touted in recent weeks, demand can increase for goods and services because people are no longer feeling the pain at the pump. And this can have the effect of stimulating the economy as a whole. According to a new gas buddy project, gas price will become significantly cheaper next year, yet the overall national average could still climb back above $4 a gallon threshold as soon as May. The national average for regular gas, a metric closely watched by Wall Street, has Main Street and even the White House is expected to drop at $3.50 in 2023, down roughly 50 cents from the average this year. That cool down could prove significant, translating to families spending an average of $280 less on fuel for the year. If that holds true, total U.S. gas spending will drop by about $55 billion. And also, I know many of you guys are in the California state, so 3 million California taxpayers have yet to receive the state's middle-class tax refund. The latest data from the Franchise Tax Board was last updated December 16th. The Franchise Tax Board typically updates the distribution numbers every Wednesday, but last week the agency didn't do this and they didn't update the data due to being on vacation break. So as of mid-December, the state reported it issued about 14,000 payments, either via direct deposit or by debit card. But the remaining million payments will remain in each taxpayers in the form of a debit card between now and mid-January. And the state of Maine, a draft version of a heating and plan being considered by the governor and lawmakers could send out $450 checks to hundreds of thousands of people and dedicate tens of millions and more to other aid and housing programs. Something close to this $450 million plan could be approved by the state of Maine, and when a new lawmaker is sworn in, they'll agree to it. Under the proposal, though, $450 checks will go out to everybody in Maine who made under $75,000 in the last tax season, while couples filing jointly and making less than $150,000 will get $900. The plan includes tens of millions more in spending, including $50 million in other heating aid programs and $15 million to support emergency housing and shelters this winter. The plan is driven by revised forecasts projecting a $280 million state budget surplus through mid-2023. The rest of the money comes from transferred in the budget. It is a response to fuel prices that are near record highs in the state, and most depend on heating oil.
The Social Security Administration says seniors and others who rely on the benefits program are likely to get an 8% boost. Yes, 8% by the end of the year because of inflation.
Cost of everything has went up, right? I mean, look at the price of your food, the price of your utilities, the cost of putting money into your cars as far as petrol. All of those things are increasing.
Financial expert Dr. Friday Burke says the COLA increase would represent the biggest cost of living adjustment since 1981.
A big and important day is here for the millions of people on Social Security beneficiaries. Senior citizens and retirees can claim extra stimulus cash and Medicare. They can finally expect to receive the money that they needed. You may receive a surprise $100 check also as well. Now, retirees will get rare and much-needed relief in 2023, all thanks to a combination that experts say might not ever happen again. It has a historically high cost of living adjustment for Social Security beneficiaries and a decline in the cost of Medicare Part B premiums. Last week, the Centers for Medicare Medicaid Services announced that the standard monthly premiums for Medicare Part B enrollees will be $165. That's a lot of money. It went down from $170 in 2022, the first decline in a decade. The annual deductible for all Medicare Part B beneficiaries will fall again to $226 in 2023 from $233 in 2022. These are cheaper premiums, cheaper deductibles. With all that being said, highest COLA in decades is here. According to Yahoo News, the adjustment should be 8.5% higher in 2023, up from 6% in 2022, and the biggest since 11.2% increase in 81. The Social Security Administration is expected to announce the official 2023 COLA mid-October, following the September 22 inflation numbers. Even if the 2023 COLA is on the low end of projections at 8.5%, it's going to translate even to an extra $130 or so a month for the typical beneficiary. It's based on the average monthly benefit for all recipients, which was already $1,500 as of June 2022. Retirees who claim both Social Security and Medicare can typically see their Part B premiums taken out of their Social Security checks. It would just contribute to an even higher Social Security benefit in 2023. Mary Johnson, the Social Security and Medicare policy analyst, also said that the 1-2 punch of a much higher COLA and lower Medicare Part B premium is something we may never see again for the rest of our lives. And it comes at a good time for retirees because many of whom have been hit hard by inflation and rising healthcare costs. Economists have noted that the extra money can be used to pay off credit cards, to restock payments.
Mr. Speaker, this will be the fifth consecutive two-year authorization of the Water Resources Development Act since 2014. Tradition revived by our former chair, Bill Schuster. And I'm grateful for the partnership of Sam Graves, the subcommittee the committee ranking member, subcommittee Grace Napolitano, chair, and subcommittee ranking member Dave Rouser for all their work in developing this historic Water Resources Development Act. This legislation builds on the successes of previous worded bills, moving projects from feasibility to construction. Two-year cycle is critical to addressing future water resource needs of our nation. It authorizes construction of 18 reports of the Chief of Engineers who studied and transmitted to Congress since the last worded bill signed into law. These chief's reports represent thoroughly vetted, locally driven projects, highly engaged cost-share partners. Core projects cover a myriad of purposes: navigation, flood control, levees, ecosystem restoration that will benefit communities all across the United States of America. The bill also authorizes 72 new feasibility studies and direct the Corps to expedite the completion of 14 ongoing